That's good though.
Yeah, yeah.
And I haven't submitted my personal transaction yet, and it's closing the day I get back from family reunion, so I'll be doing that this afternoon.
But good thing you're taking me to dinner, Scott.
There we go. We'll call it even. All right, we're going to give everyone like 3 more minutes, and then we'll get going, okay?
Sounds good.
Move over. There. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Are you ready? Good morning!
Yep, ready.
Let's try it again. Good morning! Good morning! All right, now that I have your attention, I'm going to turn it over to Mary, who's going to take it away this morning. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Did you
Hi,
get any
y'all.
snow the other day?
We have about 2 feet of snow, and it's still snowing.
I'm sorry. We have, it's 53 degrees outside, and we've seen the sun for the first time in like 2 weeks. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's real tough here.
Crazy.
All right, well,
It was.
it's all
So,
you.
okay, I guess this morning I just want to kind of start on, I just wanted to remind you, if you have changes to documents in your transactions, that we need to make sure that we're getting those copies to the title company. It's not just, you and the other agent. We need to, if we do an amendment to the contract, changing prices, any of those things, that eventually down the line will help you also in your DA being correct. Do you want to say hello?
No.
Okay. I have grandbabies. So, there you go. Okay, so that's one of the items that I wanted to just mention to you because we've had some mishaps with the title company having wrong amounts and our DAs coming with a different amount and then questions being asked when an amendment was being done and they hadn't received a copy of it. So anytime that there's any changes, be sure that you're adding those in, if you could, please, to the title company. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions on that part of it? And so that you know, all of this will be on my next bulletin too as well. But
Hey, we got one question from Pat.
hey, Pat,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So
Danny Hill this morning switched over to the new dot loop format that I guess is
Yeah.
coming tomorrow. And he got a notice that he has run out of loops at 299 and he needs to add to his subscription. And of course,
Okay.
we think that we have our subscription through Keller Williams and not through, the real dot loop.
Right. So what that means is that he is working out of dot loop and not the KW My Transaction portal.
No, he
He went through the My Transaction portal to get there and still got that message.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. I had one other agent have that glitch and I was able to get her in. So let me see what I can do this morning and then I'll give Danny a call. Does that work?
perfect.
I have a dot loop question. It's
Uh-oh.
your
It's
favorite.
Tom, never mind.
I hear you.
So, the last 3 days I've had received two emails with PDF attachments. One was through dot loop, and one was just an email with a PDF. I downloaded
Okay.
it and uploaded it into dot loop and set it up
Okay.
for signatures and initials. And when I went to hit send, it said it's too large. Even the one that was sent from PDF or through from dot loop. And so what
How many pages?
just a regular 9-page contract.
Oh,
And so what I've had to do is print it and scan it back in, and of course that cost me whatever per page just to scan it in. Is there an option or that you can think of where I could do something different with the PDF to shrink it or something that it's just very weird and it's happened twice. I'm figuring it's going to happen to others.
I've had it happen too.
yeah. The only thing that I can think of is potentially the copy is too high resolution. And I've noticed that agents sometimes will upload the MLS sheets into their files, and I go to look at it, and it's blank. So I don't really. That's a glitch with dot loop.
Well, the challenge is
For-
one of those
That's not some.
One of those two
What's that?
one of those two documents was sent to me via dot loop, and so when I went and just put it in my loop and went to send it, it said it was too large. So that making no sense to me.
Huh. Yeah, that's. I really, honestly, am the wrong person to help you with that issue. Dot Loop's the only one that's going to be able to help you because I can't fix those. I've tried to fix those MLS sheets and I've just been told that it's too large print or it's too high resolution. I really have no idea if it's copied from somebody else's machine that has a high resolution and dot loop can't handle that size of a resolution into their system. I have no idea.
Scott
But
said
that's
you everything.
I'm tech when it comes to dot loop, but that's over my head when it comes to that part.
Okay.
Sorry. You could get on to, what would be really helpful for not just us, but for everybody in dot loop is to get onto their dot loop Facebook tech page and to ask the tech guy on that Facebook page and get an answer.
Okay.
And that way everybody will know too, because it's probably not happening to just us.
Okay.
You guys hear a little background noise. I got grandkids here today.
We just didn't eat dinner. Lunch.
And they're in their pajamas running around thinking grandma's not paying attention. So, sorry, Tom, that's the best answer I can give you. And let's see what dot loop has to say on Facebook.
May I ask you another question?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll ask two. How are you?
I do it good.
The other question is, I wrote an offer yesterday, and I was doing my best to tell this guy he needed to be more specific. He and the seller reached an agreement where they were going to put a driveway in, and they were going to connect to the neighbor's water, and the price was reflected in the offer, but the details weren't.
Yep.
And so it's just really weird. I didn't know what to say to him except for you really need more specifics and you should talk to a lawyer, to which he said, well, we're going to work it out. Don't worry about it.
To whose benefit?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
Well, that's a concern, you know, that's concerning because if it's an encroachment and there is waterways going from one neighbor's house supplying the other neighbor with water, if, I mean, look at the potential of what could happen if
Yes.
there was a dispute between the neighbors.
right, no, I did,
So-
I talked to Diane about it, and she even relayed a time when somebody who bought one piece of land put a well on a different piece of land and connected, and then that person where the well was passed away, and when it changed hands, that person that took the land said, "You're not using my water," and cut them off.
Right,
And so,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would definitely have them consult with an attorney, find a real estate attorney, and get their consultation legally, making sure that everything is written up appropriately.
Okay, he said no.
Yeah, that's a very complicated situation, and it goes into the legalities, which I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really help other than disclose and get it in writing and make sure that they have good consultation and everybody is communicating, and
Well, that's what
that's
I
going to
said.
be really important.
That's what I said in my email. I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't see any circumstances if they don't do this and if they don't do that.
Right.
And so what happens if they don't do it? Well, we're not gonna close. No, it doesn't say we're not gonna close.
Right. Yeah. If you can't get a good answer on all of that, Tom, I would definitely put that in front of Scott and Avis. Or, you know, and Avis may just tell you that, you know, our client really needs to consult an attorney to get some assistance on that.
Okay.
Okay. So do I have a few more minutes? Can I talk to you guys about a situation that we've had in another office?
Take it away.
All right. So we had an agent who was under contract, and in the contract it was written that the seller would provide three things: $6,000 towards the buyer's closing costs. The seller would have the roof replaced prior to closing, and the seller would have the foundation repaired prior to closing. So with the intent that the contract was always going to be bumped up and moved, the closing date would move an extra 20 days, everything was put off. Well, then we find out that there's a tenant that's living on the property. The tenant was not given their move out until after the option period was over, which was 10 days before closing. And tenants need to have 30-day notice, so that was not going to work. So we had a buyer that was very upset, still wanted the property. We had a seller that sent the listing, or the buyer agent sent, sorry, let me try that again. The listing agent sent our buyer agent an extension to the closing date, and in that mentioned that they were going to provide $800 towards the buyer's closing costs.
Uh-oh.
So everybody agreed to that, and nothing else was completed. So that would put the contract out to the 30 days, which would work for the tenants. So the problem is when our agent started asking a question, is that $800 in lieu of the repairs? Is that $800 going to negate what was on the contract, replace what was on the contract, the $6,000, or was this a total of $6,800? So the buyer signed it, and the seller then believed that it was, instead of $6,800, it was only $600 that he was, or $800 that he was going to be paying towards the buyer's closing costs now. And so what did we do? We went to closing on the original closing date. Our buyers showed that they were willing and able to go to closing, where the seller did not show up. We did not sign closing documents. The lender prepared everything as if it was going to close. and we are still wondering what's happening. So the buyer is almost out of their lease time in the property that they're leasing currently. The agent isn't sure how to talk to our buyer and instruct them on what to do going forward. Avis has tried to communicate with the listing agent, who has been incommunicative. And so we are at a standstill. So the question is, what do we do? So the instructions, if you're ever in a situation like that, is number one, the buyer can go find another property. Number two, the buyer received a release of earnest money from the seller saying, I'll give you your earnest money back, but you release me from all liability going forward on this transaction. So the buyer can't sign that release of liability. They want their earnest money back. And their third option is to get another property and hire an attorney to try to get that earnest money back, and potentially more than just their earnest money back.
There's actually a fourth option too, Mary, which would be sending a demand for the release of earnest money, and then they can go ahead and fight it through litigation.
Right. So it's not signing the original release of earnest money where the seller is asking for a release of liability, but it is sending them a demand. And that's the release to the title company demanding a release of their earnest money for another property, or they could move that earnest money to another property. And the lender was ready to go. They were all approved and good to close on this one. So time is of the essence in getting documents. But if you're getting struggles, don't wait. Do not wait until the last minute, because that's one of the situations that Avis and I were having to deal with on this particular transaction. Is the agent didn't come to us with the problem until it was almost too late to help. So what I'm basically saying is there's solutions and there's communications that you need to be aware of that need to happen in transactions, and we're always here to help. Scott's here, Kristen's here. We are always here. When you're in a tricky situation, get to us as soon as possible and don't wait. Ask your questions.
So, Mary, I have a question.
Yes.
So, with Avis being in communication with the listing agent, or the listing agent not communicating back, because isn't there the law now that the cooperating broker has to respond within, what is it,
2 days now.
2 days?
It's 2 days now.
If that's not happening,
Yeah.
how do you move that forward past them not answering it?
Right. But you're still stuck with the buyer saying, I want that property. I'm approved for a loan. I've had an inspection done. I've got my earnest money tied up in this. What am I going to do? I'm almost out of my lease. We're having panic attacks now in trying to scramble to try to help this buyer out. And of course, you sit down and you go to the closing table, and it's disturbing if you're not communicating correctly with your buyer. It can be disturbing to them to go to a closing and have the title company attorney come in and say, there's too many disputes, we can't close this today. So communication is the key, you guys. And I think for those of you who are going to family reunion, there are a couple of leadership communication classes I highly recommend that you go to that will help in how to say certain things and talk to your buyers and sellers. And tricky situations happen, and we never know when they're going to happen, and you don't want to wait until you're in the middle of it to try to figure out, oh, well, what do I say? And it's difficult for us to try to, walk you through that situation when we're coming in at the very end. So always communicate with us first, and then we can help you, walk you through that situation.
So if the buyer still wanted that property though, do we have
The
any?
buyer's still sitting there wanting it as of today, but there was not an extension. The seller wants out. The seller believes he was only going to pay $800 towards the buyer's closing costs, and we're in a really tricky situation. So it may
limbo.
work
It's
out.
not like there's an obvious
But
recourse.
I think they should definitely been directed to an attorney in a very close time period of when it was originally supposed to close. So we'll see what happens, but I can let you guys know what the end result is going to be when it's all finalized. But it's been a tough one. So anyway,
So I got a question for you, because
Yes.
this is one we're doing. This is one we're going through right now. Is our office. If a judge tells you that you have the right to sell the property, and you have the property on the market and under contract, and then the judge realizes he was wrong and didn't really have the right to tell you you could sell the property, what do you do then?
in that circumstance, then you're going to be looking for assistance with Avis and Scott. Absolutely first.
But Scott just asked you. I'm just kidding.
And careful communication with the other parties involved is key.
Well, here's the thing. When you have documents like that pertain to a transaction, it is extremely important to keep all of those documents together and put them in your file so that, heaven forbid, anything ever comes up and the closing wasn't able to happen because the title company literally found this out 2 days before it was supposed to close. And
communication is also the key in writing.
so now the fact that we have those documents from the original judge who said you have the right to sell it, and that is on paper from the judge, we've been building a timeline of events that show we had the knowledge
And when you're
from
looking
the
to blame
courthouse that
somebody,
we could sell it.
if you can show your track record,
Yep.
then we're covered. We just need to follow the line back. And
Correct.
all the communication that you're having in a transaction should always be put into your loops and your files. So copy those emails, copy those text messages, and keep a really good running track of all your transactions. Because here's the thing, you never know. Never know. I mean, you could think that you have a smooth transaction, everything's great. You're selling a $20,000 lot. What's the big deal, right? Well, what happens when that $20,000 lot, the owner of this lot that they just used you to purchase, finds out that they can't get a water well? They can't drill a well because they can't get the permit to do it. So, those are other things that come up later on, and those are communications that we need to be having so that the buyers know exactly what they're getting. And it's to kind of go back to what I talked about last month. It's very important we're using the general information notice to buyer form. They need to read that form. Make sure that they go through that form. You go through it with them. Read the information. Make sure that they are fully informed. Give them websites that they can go to get further information on the properties that they're purchasing. It is a buyer beware anymore. There are situations that are happening that we need to make sure that our buyers and sellers are fully aware of what they're doing in their transactions. Do you have any questions?
One more.
Okay.
I would think that even though you have a letter from a judge stating that they have the right to sell the property, I think it would be our responsibility to put in special provisions. It's still subject to the court's approval. And maybe that would have helped.
Well,
So that everybody wasn't expecting something to happen.
in this case, the court had approved it,
Yeah.
and then the judge,
There wasn't any question
correct.
with
Yeah, there was no
seller
question
or the
that it was
title.
approved, with the exception of after the title company discovered what they discovered on it, they went back to the judge, and the judge then admitted, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's clear
Yep.
title too. You have to get clear title,
Yep.
even though the judge did approve it.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So we have, and we have lenders, we have title companies that are helping us to catch these things. And that's why I was telling you guys, if you're making changes to those contracts, make sure that you're informing the title and the lenders so they have all the documentation going forward on what's happening. And there are limits to how much a seller can give a buyer towards their closing costs, especially on FHA and VA loans.
And I'll tell you, this was not a title company in Williamson County, so.
Yay. Well, awesome, you guys. Thanks for all your hard work. Everybody is so busy. You're keeping me on my toes, I'll tell you that. That's great. So just, keep communicating and letting us know what we can do to help you guys out. I have some more things that'll be coming this spring. And I think probably after family reunion, we'll have another bulletin out for you. So we'll cover some more items that are coming out. And if there's something that you want to see in that bulletin, feel free to send me an email. I'd appreciate it.
Perfect. Any other questions for Mary? Great. Give it up for Mary.
Right.
Thanks for joining us, Mary.
You got it.
All right. Yes.
So my question is, why did the buyer's agent allow their buyer to sign an amendment that had $800 on it? I mean, I can't get that.
I don't know.
That egg is just all over
That
the
is
place.
not in my office. So, I don't know, and I can tell you it would have been a little different if it was. So, all right, let's go ahead and make sure that the sound is on. It's definitely on, guys. It's definitely on. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our meeting. First of all, good morning. It's good to see you all. Thank you for being here. We've got some really, really exciting stuff to talk about in our meeting today, and that's going to be coming up over the weekend. This is a weekend that you're not going to want to be completely unplugged from all technology. This is a weekend where you're going to want to be actively engaged with what's going on in New Orleans, Louisiana. Not just because it's a party city, but that's because we've got our family reunion, the biggest convention in real estate going on this weekend in New Orleans. So before we get started with that, I'm sure some of you have seen this video before, yet it's a video that was, it's a recording that was done of a speech here at the University of Texas a few years ago, and I wanted to share it with you this morning.
Change the world. Start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. To pass SEAL training, there are a series of long swims that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the swim, the instructors joyfully brief the students on all the species of sharks that inhabit the waters off San Clemente. They assure you, however, that no student has ever been eaten by a shark, at least not that they can remember. But you are also taught that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summons up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world, If you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them. So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks. Over a few weeks of difficult training, my SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 42. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. I was in the boat with the tall guys, but the best boat crew we had was made up of the little guys, the Munchkin crew, we call them. No one was over 5'5". The Munchkin boat crew had 1 American Indian, 1 African American, 1 Polish American, 1 Greek American, 1 Italian American, and 2 tough kids from the Midwest. They out-paddled, outran, and outswam all the other boat crews. The big men in the other boat crews would always make good-natured fun of the tiny little flippers the Munchkins put on their tiny little feet prior to every swim. But somehow these little guys from every corner of the nation and the world always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone and reaching the shore long before the rest of us. SEAL training was a great equalizer. Nothing mattered but your will to succeed, not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. If you want to change the world,
can you take that off?
Measure a person by the size of their heart,
there's something else
not by the size of their flippers.
For in a second.
The 9th week of training is referred to as Hell Week. It is 6 days of no sleep, constant physical and mental harassment, and 1 special day at the Mud Flats. The Mud Flats are an area between San Diego and Tijuana where the water runs off and creates the Tijuana Sloughs, a swampy patch of terrain where the mud will engulf you. It is on Wednesday of Hell Week that you paddle down in the Mud Flats and spend the next 15 hours trying to survive this freezing cold, the howling wind, and the incessant pressure to quit from the instructors. As the sun began to set that Wednesday evening, my training class, having committed some egregious infraction to rules, was ordered into the mud. The mud consumed each man till there was nothing visible but our heads. The instructors told us we could leave the mud if only 5 men would quit. Only 5 men, just 5 men, and we could get out of the oppressive cold. Looking around the mud flat, it was apparent that some students were about to give up. It was still over 8 hours till the sun came up. 8 more hours of bone-chilling cold. The chattering teeth and the shivering moans of the trainees were so loud, it was hard to hear anything. And then one voice began to echo through the night. One voice raised in song. The song was terribly out of tune, but sung with great enthusiasm. One voice became 2, and 2 became 3, and before long, everyone in the class was singing. The instructors threatened us with more time in the mud if we kept up the singing, but the singing persisted, and somehow the mud seemed a little warmer, and the wind a little tamer, and the dawn not so far away. If I have learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope. The power of one person, a Washington, a Lincoln, King, Mandela, and even a young girl from Pakistan, Malala. One person can change the world by giving people hope. So if you want to change the world, start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. And what started here will indeed have changed the world for the better.
So what do you think about that? How many of you have read this book? Okay, it's short, it's sweet, it's a 10-step process of different things that you can do each day. But the first and most important thing they talk about is making your bed. And the reason why he talks about that is because they do just that in their, I'm sorry, it'll go off in a second, is they do just that. And if their bed's not made and perfect, they'll come in, rip their bed apart, and make them start all over again. Because the first task of the day is the most important one, because like he said, at the end of the day, at least you can come home and know you finished something that day. Why do you think I'd show a video like that? I've been to your... Tom, I'm glad you got it. No, because this weekend, we're looking to do something incredible in the real estate industry. We're going to change the way that real estate is done. And it's going to take all of us working collectively together to make sure that it happens. And is the tech that's coming going to be a challenge for some of us? You better believe it. And I want you to know that we are here to partner with you in helping you to get to that next level, because these are the things that are going to be so important to make sure that we not only survive in our industry, but that we thrive, and that at the end of all of this, and when we have all of the technology figured out, which we never will because it's always going to change, but that we're the ones that are always on top. And not only that we're on top, but that we maintained relationships with our people. Because we can have all the technology in the world, yet if we don't have the relationships with people, none of it matters. So we are committed to helping you build relationships, maintain relationships, and enhance all of that through the technology that we have coming very, very quickly. So does anyone have any questions about that? Good. Any other takeaways from that video? I'm sorry you're freezing. All right, so the next thing I wanted to do, each week I wanted to give gratitude to somebody in the Market Center. So this week, Julie, thank you so much for all that you do. She's going to have a special presentation here in a little bit, so I had to go and grab her. Yeah. Whoa, you be really careful. Thank you for correcting that quickly before we have an HR nightmare. No, but thank you so much for going out and supporting us at the real estate schools and being an advocate for our industry by being willing and able to teach so many people so that we have people who are educated in our industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give it up for Julie. All right, and I don't have an Ellen video this week. I'm sorry. I do have something different. It's a text message conversation between somebody who thought they were contacting their property manager, and they really contacted a random person. So this is why we don't want you to be in property management unless you have your broker's license.
A while ago I got a text message that was not meant for me. And I know that because it began, "Hi Phil." And I'm not Phil. But it said, "My name's Andrew. I'm one of the new tenants at 11 Dover Place, and I've been told you're the person to contact regarding upkeep problems, etc." And I was like, obviously got the wrong number, so I was like, I'm not actually, but I was just composing another message explaining to him the fact that he got the number wrong by a digit, and I was not in fact his landlord. But before I had a chance to send it, he said, "Actually, you are." I thought, you dick. He said, "According to the leasing agreement, you're responsible for looking after 11 Dover Place from a maintenance perspective." And from my perspective, which it has to be said is not one of maintenance, there was nothing I could do. My hands were tied. I said, "My mistake. How can I help? Phil." And we were off. He said, "I'm in the bedroom with ensuite. Can a thermostatic valve be fitted at the towel rail in the bathroom as it's making the room unbearably hot?" I thought about it. I started to get myself into Phil's shoes. Do you know what I mean? And I said, "No can do." But I'm having my builder come round on Wednesday to remove one of the windows. This should stop the bedroom overheating. He said, "Hi Phil, I'm at work on Wednesday. Can you clarify what you meant when you said you're removing a window?" I said, "I'm not removing a window. That would be ridiculous. I'm getting a professional to do it." "We should achieve a nice summer breeze to combat the towel rail heat." He said, "Can you please explain what you mean about removing windows?" Now, at this point, guys, if you were Andrew, I think you'd probably be wondering quite correctly whether I was indeed Phil, but I didn't want to think that, because by this point, guys, I had plans. So what I wanted was some evidence. So what I did is I went to Google. Google's amazing, because the first thing I did when I popped in the address was it popped up a little realtor's page for 11 Dover Place, and that happened to include a floor plan. And I thought, wow, That is very useful. Because that enabled me to send him this. I said, look, I said, the plan for Wednesday, watch very carefully. I made that into an animated GIF and I sent it to him via iMessage. What I didn't realize at the time was if you make an animated GIF and you send it to someone, it just basically repeats. So this is what happened. It was like... He said, I failed to see how that would help. And to be fair, I realized he was right, because you don't remember from physics, you know, at school, you need a blue, and you also need a red, you know what I mean? So, like, obviously I had like kind of a, you know, like, you know what I mean? But then again, I was like, I said, FYI, to take full advantage, you need to keep your bathroom door open at all times. He said, if this is unacceptable, if you do this on Wednesday, my lawyer will be in touch. And I thought, ooh. I said, Andrew, from Wednesday, expect the flat to be out of action for 6 weeks as we initiate the following 4-step plan. I was having literally the greatest time of my life. Step 1, remove all 4 walls. That's just step 1. Step 2, expand bathroom. Step 3, isolate towel rail with refrigeration dome. Step 4, counteract remaining towel rail heat with tower of ice. I've just spoken to the real landlord, so you can knock it off. Out of interest, did he agree to sort the towel rail? I said, go on, did he? Yes.
All right, so how many of you gotten a text message or a phone call from the wrong number? Okay, have you asked those people for a referral? Yes? Do you do it every time? Good, good. So, I mean, you can have a little fun with them like that if you want to. Just make sure you're asking for a referral at the very end of the conversation, because what do you have to lose, right? All right, so family reunion, I want to talk a little bit about this. So family reunion is going on this weekend. It's going to start on Saturday. And what I wanted to go over with you is the different things that you'll be able to watch through KW Connect. So the first one is going to be on Saturday from 1:30 to 4:30, and that's the keynote with Gary. This is probably one of the most powerful presentations that you can get to watch and have the data from afterward through PowerPoint, because there's so much that you can use in this presentation in your listing appointments. Because he goes over statistics from the entire United States of America, the entire country of Canada, and shows exactly what our market's been doing over the last 12 months. And then he talks about things that they see happening that are trends that are going on in the different markets in different parts of the country right now. They also talk about what the employment forecast is. They talk about what the employment forecast has been and how that's affected the market. They talk about interest rates. They go into the history over the past like 30 years since we've been a company and show you all of that data. And then you can download the PDF afterward so that you can print any of those pages in and put them into your listing presentation. One of them that he printed, or that he had at the family reunion last year, was a pretty powerful one. It showed the statistics on price reductions. And the statistics that they were able to come up with were that if you had reduced the price of a home, each time you reduce the price, on average, you are going to get offers that are 3% lower than what the previous price that you were just at was. So that was a pretty powerful piece of information that you could include in your listing presentations to encourage people to price it right. So that one right there, 1:30 to 4:30 on Saturday. It's going to be available on kwconnect.com. All you have to do is log in to KW Connect. It should be right there on the front screen.
So what is that one?
That is the keynote with Gary.
And the vision speech?
Well, I'll get there in a minute.
Can you wait?
Yes. It'll be recorded. You can watch it later. It may take them 24 hours to upload the entire thing after it's done, but it will be live streamed during the process. And you should be able to download the PowerPoint, or not the PowerPoint, the PDF before this begins. It'll be available on KW Connect as well. The next one is on, what is the next one? It's, I gotta go back here. The vision speech is going to be on Sunday from 10 to noon. And it'll be really, where do we see our company going? This one right here is where they're going to tell you, here are all of the different technological pieces that you have available to you starting right this moment. So that one right there will be a really, really good one to watch. It will also be recorded because I realize a lot of you are probably in church from 10 to noon. That'll be available for you live or quickly after that. And then the next one is the vision speech. And this will be done by Josh Team, who is now the president of our company. It's going to be from 9:30 to 11 on Monday morning. And this will be more implementation of technology and where they're going with all of the tech that we have to offer, and how you can implement that in your business immediately. And then probably one of the most powerful ones that we have is the inspirational morning with Mo Anderson. This is the biggest testament to the culture of who we are as a company. And this is Tuesday. Oh, sorry. I'm off by a day. It's Tuesday at 9:30 to 11:30. I have the day wrong. So that'll be on Tuesday morning. Any questions about all that stuff? This is probably going to be the most powerful family reunion that we've had, with Gary Keller being the CEO of our company once again, and the direction that we're going for technology. It's going to be really, really incredible. So take advantage of all of the resources that you have available, even if you're not going to be there, because you're going to be able to start using things immediately. Any questions? All right. So Kristen, what's going on? Tell us what happened at TR, the Texas Realtors.
It was fun watching all of our leadership at the Texas Realtors remember to say TR.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
Just so you know, yes, thank you. This is our new logo.
Designed by Ted Cruz and his team.
So we are Texas Realtors now, just so y'all know. It's never been TAR. We hear that a lot, and probably people can't hear me.
Oh, there you go. Take it away. It's already on.
Okay. So it's never been TAR. We hear that a lot. It's not TER either now. So it's just TR. So get comfortable saying that when you're out and about. The beauty of the conference that I attended, I was there, Friday morning and through yesterday evening. So I think I got home at like 8:30 last night. So it's about as heavy duty as our family reunion, and anyone can attend. It's the winter meeting. That was what this past one was. We also have a big conference coming up in September, which is the state conference. I think that's in Fort Worth this year. So if you like any of the information I'm going to give today, it's a good idea to possibly attend that. And just like Family Reunion, it's a great opportunity to network and build relationships across the state, because of course, what could you possibly gain from a relationship from Dallas or Houston? Anyone know? Referrals, correct. And if you're doing similar things or have a passion for a lot of the topics that are kind of touched on at the conferences, it's a good idea to get involved. So I sat through quite a few forums. A lot of it was education. A lot of it was, they have educational CE courses that you can go take. I know there were some on the technology. The beautiful part is being with KW, we're ahead, right? And so some of these things we've heard before. So it's not like you're going to go out there and it's going to blow your mind, because a lot of you know what's going on. You're sitting in here, you're watching our technology kind of bloom before your eyes. And so some of the stuff they're talking about is stuff we already know is coming or already have in place. Yet it's always good to know where your competition is, right? And the people that are out in the field, other brokerages, what are they doing? And one of the classes the instructors talked about disruption. And there was even some things that I didn't even know what were going on, right? And so things like Realster and UpNest. Have people heard of UpNest? Yeah, so if you guys don't know any of these names, these are great opportunities for you to go out
and know what your competition is offering. And these are all online platforms that are vying for the same business that you are, which is why your NER relationships are really important, those database relationships, right? So anyways, that was one. The other thing that I received was this wonderful little, and I'll leave this up here if you guys want to take copies of it, but it just talks about designation courses and how that benefits a lot of the agents, and how they're working and helping you guys get better at your game, if you will. One important one I want to talk about is TRLP, the Texas Realtors Leadership Program. I think we graduated 15 in my class, and I think 7 of us are in leadership at our local associations or higher. I think we have 3 right now that are presidents at their local boards and moving, or the rest are moving up into those positions. So also a good opportunity, and you can go to your local board, wherever that might be, and apply. If you're in Temple Belton, Williamson County, Waco, Bryan College Station, those are Region 8, so you would be in a similar one. If you're in Austin, that's Region 15. They also have their own TRLP program. So I think Scott took yours in Dallas or Houston? Houston, so he's also a TRLP grad. How's that helped you? Gives you insight?
Awesome.
Yeah, insight on what's going on at that state and national level, which for anybody that's involved, you would know that that's, really working on your business. So
yeah. And you get to learn all the politics behind it too.
There's a lot of politics behind everything that we do, and if you think there's not, you are sorely mistaken, and you need to know what they are and how that works. There is something that's coming out called the Fast Pass. It's coming out through TR, and what they're doing and what they're working really hard on, it's working right now. It worked at the convention, so every time you went to a class, you just logged in through your badge on your phone, and you all have one at texasrealestate.com. I can show you how to get there later on. So the local associations and even local market centers will be able to implement this. And what it is it's a scanning badge on your phone. And every time you go to a class, it will log you in, it will check you in and also check you out. And then it'll email you automatically your certificate, which will also get automatically sent to TREC. So that way you don't have to upload your certificate and then send it to TREC and wait for their response. It's an automatic kind of smooth system. So they are definitely working on some stuff. And then we're also looking for more ideas for classes. If you have a passion for building a class that you think would be great out in the field, we are now able to recognize realtors for those classes instead of just the associations. So what was happening previously is that if someone built a class, they would give it to the association, and the association would get credit, and mostly the bigger associations would get the credit because it's financially, it's tough to gain traction on a smaller class if you're only a small membered organization, right? And so now they have opened it up to individuals. So if you're a realtor, even though maybe you're a Williamson County realtor and you didn't get an opportunity to teach the class there, but you taught it at Temple Belton and Waco or Bryan College Station or maybe even HAR, if you've had it out there, then you can apply for Program of the Year. So if you have a passion for that, there's opportunities. And lastly, MLS. So if you're a member at Actress and CTX MLS, you will notice now that we have showing time. Actress has adopted showing time, which is great for CTX MLS members because now you can have access to both MLSs through showing time, so all of your records are in one place. So we are working on that. What else?
What is showing time?
So showing time is a showing service. Does anybody remember the big hullabaloo about CSS?
I do.
Okay, so showing time is similar to CSS in that it allows you to schedule or have something schedule your showings for you. You can set up parameters, and that way other realtors can go in, log into showing time and say, I want to show this house at this time, and then you can gain approval through all of that.
Can the client say yes or no?
Yep, the client, and it's all on an app. I'll tell you, it's a million times easier on the user side of it to use showing time. There were some boards that were using it prior. I want to say
San Antonio used it, right?
No, San Antonio CSS.
Okay.
But showing time is a larger product, so it's used more often throughout the U.S. than CSS, right? Yes.
So I know with the showing service that was with Actress, there's a fee to use it because we got billed for it. Is because I know Central Texas with our showing time, it's free. We don't,
Right.
I guess it's not free, but we pay for it through the service of, you know, our dues, or MLS dues. Is it going to be the same way for
With-
this?
I think if you have access through CTX MLS, it should be in conjunction because Actress has opened it up. I am not sure if Actress is charging their clients for it, so I'd have to verify that for you, Chris.
They're saying that they are charging.
Okay, I didn't think so because I would have heard a louder about it, so I haven't heard much. Right, right. So I think that there, of course, there are far fewer members using it because it's still new. And as we all know, realtors are pretty determined that we don't typically like change. However, you have to understand, and this is really important that you all know this, and I really want you to grasp the concept that our market and the way we do business is changing. And if you're not ahead of it, you're way behind, which in a shift is going to put you even more so behind, right? So knowing these things and knowing these changes and how certain tools can benefit your business is going to put you ahead and allow you to communicate that worth, that value to your clients. Yes, Kim.
Can you give us any sort of update on Highland Lakes, Abor, and why are you smiling, in Central Texas?
I cannot.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we guess?
I cannot verify anything because I don't know. It's an ongoing conversation, right? And the voice of the majority matters. So if you feel like that's important for your business, then you need to voice those concerns to those of us in places that can take that to the local associations. You know, yes, do we have conversations with the people that can make decisions? All the time. All the time. And there is an obvious concern for the fear of change and how that affects their membership. And each association is in a place right now of survival, right? Because we know that at some point we're going to go towards a larger MLS system. And so how does that work and how do we get there? It's to be determined. And a lot of it is led by the voices of you, right? Because the brokers control, you know, that information. If you go to your broker and say, how does this work? Or I want this, or I don't understand that, then the broker can also communicate what you guys are asking for to the associations, who then can communicate to the MLS. Now, the association and the MLS are two different things. So your association doesn't necessarily control everything that the MLS is doing. They have their own board of governors, and that's typical with any MLS. So a lot of times you think, well, I'm a part of this board and I'm a part of this MLS, so they must be connected. They are in some ways in terms of revenue, but in terms of, you know, how they structure and what tools they use, that's really up to the board of governors, and they do listen to the voice of the membership. So, you know, make sure that you voice your opinion.
Think about it like going to the food court at the mall. They have a bunch of different places you can choose from, but you're still in the mall.
That's right. And if one of them goes out of the business, doesn't mean the mall is going out of business. Yes, it's perfect. It's perfect.
You're welcome. It came up just now.
I think that is it. Oh, one more thing. Can I touch on this? Because I've gotten questions. So for those of you who are members of CTX MLS and another MLS, whether it's Actress or Highland Lakes, and let's say you have gone into Actress and you put in a listing and you have forgotten to put it into CTX MLS, right? You don't have to raise your hand. I know it happens. We've been trying to figure out a way that you don't get a fine violation. And so I had the opportunity to talk to the powers to be for CTX MLS, and what they're working on right now is they have shut off automatic violations for that particular thing. And so what we really want you to do is remember, when you're signing that listing agreement and you're part of multiple MLSs, you need to have it in every single MLS that you're in. I understand that you're a human. I understand that you might forget. So what you need to do is let me know. I can give you the number to the gentleman at CTX MLS who can handle it. And he said, just give me a call and say, hey, you know what? I've realized it's been a week and I haven't put my listing in CTX MLS. That is not how I want you to do business, and I understand you're human. So get used to putting them in however many MLSs you're in. You are responsible for that, and you're breaching your listing agreement if you're not listing them where you say you're going to list them. Megan.
Clarifying, if we're in multiple areas where it doesn't cover that,
Then you do not have to put it in there.
Not put it there.
Correct.
It's only when it's overlapping.
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I think I'm asking
So if
the
it's
same
in,
question, but
if,
so if I
if it's
have
in
a
Buda,
listing-
it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, okay. So a listing that I have in Del Valley, I'm not gonna
No.
have to put in CTX MLS just.
No.
'cause I
Correct.
listed it. Okay.
Yeah. But if it's in Salado
So also to clarify
or
though,
Gerald,
Megan, if you have the listing in Buda and it's not been moving and you go,
It would be I mean,
well, I want to put it in CTX MLS, guess what's going to happen? The data checker also data checks Actress. It's going to notice that you put that listing in a month ago in Actress and you're just now putting it into CTX MLS, and you could get a fee violation for that. So, or a violation that would trigger a fine. So what you would do is just call them and let them know why there's been a difference in timing, and they'll be fine with that. Yes.
Okay.
If you're not sure about overlapping.
Hold
that's-
on just a second. Tom?
Is there an option in your listing agreement that you put, I'm gonna put it in CTX and not in Austin and or the other way around?
well, yeah, theoretically, the consumer has the ability to choose where it's going to go. That would just need to be in the listing agreement. And as long as you have a listing agreement to back it up, they can't fine you for
I
that.
wouldn't know why you wouldn't want to put it, if you're going to be a part of multiple MLSs, I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to.
Well,
Have
for
them in.
example, if it's further out than Florence and it's, most people out there are CTX, and you don't have, whatever, you don't have a lockbox, and everybody, somebody in Austin is gonna go shoot it, and they assume that because they have.
Sure.
Or you decide that, you know what, we're not getting the traction that I thought we would in Actress. I'm going to go ahead and join CTX MLS. Then you can go ahead and put it in there.
Yes, and you would just need to let them know, because there would be, it's about data. It's about data, right? So if you go onto Zillow or whoever else and you see this listing has been on the market for umpteen days, right, or whatever, and then you enter it into another MLS system that has a different day set, the data is confused. So there's no way to merge or know what's the correct data for us, right, if we're going out to comp things. So it's not even about the fact that, yes, it's about you selling your listing, but when it comes to entering it into MLS, it's making sure that we have correct comps, it's making sure that we have correct numbers, and all of that that difference in the posting causes hiccups when people are trying to comp and doing all these other things. So, yes, Julie.
If you have it in multiple MLSs, will it go into Zillow and Realtor.com multiple times?
There's a possibility that it can, yes.
You choose to turn off syndication on one in order for it to not have as much confusion.
That's
but
correct.
Typically, when you're on Zillow, you can choose it shows the two different listings.
One other update that I want to give about CTX MLS for us that concerns you in a great way is we finally got it figured out for syndication from CTX MLS into KWLS so that everything's syndicating the way that it's supposed to. So now that it's finally got the bugs worked out, it's working. So if you're in Temple Belton, you're in Fort Hood, Killeen, you're in San Marcos, or you're here in Williamson County, CTX MLS is now syndicating correctly so that all of those listings will show up on your KW mobile search app or your Playster page. Now, if you are a member of CTX MLS and you haven't set up your Playster page for the IDX feed, come and see me. There is a specific document that Avis has signed that we need to send to Playster so that the CTX MLS feed does it correctly. You can't just go through the Playster page and click CTX MLS and put in your information. It's not there yet for that part, but we do have a document that we can send to an email address for them, and they'll take care of linking it for you.
And
yes,
they need to send their login to me so I can
correct.
add them in the back end.
Yes. So if you haven't sent your CTX login to Lauren, do that when you have an opportunity so that she can add it to the white pages in the back end so that it is showing up in your mobile search app.
And one last thing is there's going to be there's a new Defender platform being added onto CTX MLS, so you will be prompted to change your password at some point for CTX MLS. And what that will do, the benefit of it is right now everything's going back to the local association. So if you're at Waycor or Temple Belton or Fort Hood, Killeen, we have to wait. Like if you forget your password, you have to wait until someone's in the office to reset your password. Now the Defender is going to be stacked onto the tools that are being used for this, And so it'll automatically send you a password reset. You could reset it 5 times in a row if you wanted to. So.
Okay, quick question for you. Never Ending Referrals is not going to happen this coming Monday, right?
That's correct. So Never Ending Referrals is on hold until we get back from family reunion.
So the 25th is when we'll start back up.
Yes, the 25th, and it's been going really well. We've had 8 to 10 people every week. I'm looking at the numbers. The numbers are good. People are I'm starting to see some referrals happen there. And, you know, I think yesterday was a really great class. Erica said that there was a lot of input. It was a lot of group discussion. I'd love to see y'all there. It's really about building your database so you guys have a good 2019. So,
good.
And there is, I believe, a webinar going on later today that if you want to know more, let me know.
All right.
So.
And then Rising Stars will resume on February 25th as well, because we won't be here next week for family reunion. And then Accelerated Ignite is going to be on February 23rd from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Who are we talking about on this one? Buyers, right?
Buyers.
Buyers.
Buyers and negotiation.
Okay. So and that will be available here in the office from 9 to 4. Lunch will be provided. And then our awards is going to be on March 5th from 9 to 11. If they haven't signed up yet, Lauren, what do they need to do?
I'm in the next day or two going to resend the invite. Just RSVP to, I can't remember if I did Evite.
It was Evite. Evite.
Evite. So Evite. And then also I will resend for the form for the Eagle Award.
Perfect.
Right? Did everybody receive those? Just put in your vote for the Eagle Award, one per person.
1 vote per person.
And it is only for agents.
Correct.
Agents only can receive this.
Yes. All right. And then I forgot to take that slide out. Mardi Gras. Julie?
Do you have my music?
It's supposed to be playing, but hey, I'll get it going while you come and talk.
I have to have my music. I can't
Okay,
dance without music.
Well, I'll get it going.
In my head.
Music in your head. All right, here we go.
Who's going to Mardi Gras?
There you go.
There we go, music, time for music. Now I got to the beat. I need an umbrella. How many of you have your Mardi Gras table? How many of you are going to buy one? We have tables left. Mardi Gras is a lot of fun, especially if you guys that are ready. You're not going to have fun. Your family, your friends, your neighbors. It's not necessarily about clients. It's about who you want to come and have fun with. Somebody goes, well, I don't party. Well, even though it says Mardi Gras party, it's your choice if you want to party or not. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have, okay, if you get there early, don't tell anybody. Get there early, and you know the big picture thing where they take the picture?
Yeah.
And nobody's there to let you change the picture in the background.
Yeah.
One time I had a dragon chasing after me. It's hanging in my office. So it's a lot of fun. We're having a lot of cold music. It's the 28th from 6 to 9. So everybody should go. Even if you're new, you need to experience it because like I have fun. You still need to come. Also, what they're doing is you're like, I don't want a table. They have a deal for you. If you want to buy an individual table, contact Gail, the boss. They're selling chairs $10 a chair. So if you want to go, you can buy your chair for $10. If you want to bring your plus one, that's $20. If you want to bring your kids, that's $10 per person. And did I say it's kid friendly? It's kid friendly.
Yeah.
Kids love to get out there and dance with that music. It's a lot of fun. Those that have been there know it's fun. Those that haven't been there, you need to buy your table, buy a chair, and be sure and be there. Gumbo. Oh, we having gumbo. Oh,
Gumbo, not Dumbo.
Gumbo. We have food. We have gumbo. We have these little square things.
Fried meat pies.
And we
Yeah.
make them. Diane makes the gumbo. Pat chops something. Pat chops the onions or something. It's correct.
It's, the food is,
It's great food. We have margaritas. We have beer. We have water. We have non-alcoholic drinks for your kids because we're not going to let them drink. That's not a good deal. No.
Thanks.
So we're going to have a lot of fun. So if you haven't bought
Thanks
your
for
table,
the clarification.
Yeah, I had to. If you haven't bought your table or your chair, be sure and be there. It's really a lot of fun. And who wants? I have 2 more beats left. Okay, heads up. Woo!
Woo! All right, thanks, Julie. All right, and then who wants to know more about Farm and Ranch? Good. Tomorrow, one of the Farm and Ranch experts in our area is going to be here from 12 to 1:30, and lunch will be provided. That's going to be here in the office for an hour and a half. It's going to be probably one of the most informative sessions that you can have. Do you have anything you want to add about Norma?
She's my go-to for any questions.
Yeah.
So any of y'all that have asked me anything, like, it's coming from her.
Yeah.
And we need an
Yeah.
honest opinion.
Yeah, and I'm going to send out a text message after the meeting. If you're going to be able to be there tomorrow, please just respond with the word yes so that we can give her a count so they know how many to bring lunch for. All right, any questions about that?
Does she have a speaker?
It's going to be her. Yeah, she's going to be the speaker. She's also going to be bringing a speaker with her in May that's going to talk about a bunch of other farm and ranch type things.
Always good.
Yeah, always good. Tomorrow's going to be like an FAQ class. She's going to go over the things that you absolutely need to know should you ever decide that you want to do a farm and ranch contract. So be here tomorrow. And then if you haven't signed up, the Texas License to Carry class is going to be on March 16th. You can sign up on connectkw.com. There's a link at the very bottom of that page. It's $75. That includes your range fees. It's going to be here in the Market Center. It includes your range fees. It also includes if you need to borrow a gun, you can. You just have to purchase ammunition at the range. So that'll be here in the Market Center from 9 to 3 that day. And then we'll go to the range about halfway through. It's a 4-hour class in the classroom. And then after that, we'll go to the range. Any questions about that?
So this guy
Yes.
coming will what?
He will teach you, he'll take you through the steps, the class portion for getting your license, and then he'll take you to the range, and you'll have the range test, and he'll be giving you tips and pointers and things like that there to help make sure that you're accurate should you ever need to use it. $75.
Okay, and this is the range up on Austin?
No, it's actually, from here you'll go to Cedar Park, and you'll do an indoor range there. Yeah.
Then he goes over
Yeah,
the
for
law.
certification. He goes over the law. That's the 4-hour class, is the law portion of it. It's a great class. I took it a couple years ago.
And it's fun. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I took it.
Yeah. Anyone have a new listing they want to tell us about? Megan.
We have a new listing coming on next week. We got new listing next week as soon as we're back from family reunion. It's in Churchill Farms. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-car tandem garage with a mother-in-law bedroom down. Semi-updated, kitchen updated, paint outside, and a good part of the rest of the interior. It's going to be listed at $315.
Good. Lee.
3,400 square feet.
I've got 2 coming in the Woods of Brushy Creek in Round Rock. First one's my next door neighbor, so only nice, friendly buyers with no loud dogs. They're really working on doing a lot of updating and remodeling. It's about 2,400 square feet, 3 bedrooms up, formal dining, a slightly oversized lot for our neighborhood. They've just put in new tile. They've remodeled the bathrooms, interior paint and carpets coming. So that'll probably be 1st of April.
Okay.
Another one in the Woods of Brushy Creek. This house is a little interesting. It's 20 years old, but when I say it's hardly lived in, I'm dead serious about that. I know people say that all the time, but she had it built from the builder. She's the original owner, and once she built it, she met her significant other, and she never really lived in the house. So for 20 years, she's been kind of hanging on to it. It's got the original builder beige walls that don't have a nail hole or smudge on them anywhere. She's never had kids, no dogs, no cats, nothing. The carpet is beautiful sky blue, and it's even in the bathrooms, but it's in really good shape. But it's a cul-de-sac, green belt corner, and that'll probably be in about 3 weeks. She's just cleaning it out, and then we'll be good to go. They'll probably both be right around 325. So.
Great. Who else? Take it away.
We have 2 listings coming up. One in Killeen, and it's a 3-bedroom with an office. I think it's a little over 1,900 square feet. It's going to be priced at $152. And then we also have another one coming up in Harker Heights. It's a little over 3,000 square feet. It's a D.R. Horton Sonoma floor plan, and it is 5 bedrooms with 3-car garage, it's going to be priced at $290.
Okay.
What? $290.
All right. Anyone else? Yeah, Debbie.
The one I was talking about last week, the 2-story out on the 5 acres with the 3-car garage, we got it priced at $454,900. They did quite a bit of improvements that they were telling us going to do. I was very impressed. It will be on the market the 20th. It's incoming soon. There is a lockbox. If you want to go ahead. Just please take your shoes off. This is brand new carpet. They are having their moving sale this Saturday. So if anybody wants to see it, they can go and see it on Saturday.
Location, what, Debbie?
Okay, I'll give you the address. It's 1800 County Road 156, and it is Granger, even though it's about 5 miles east of us.
Okay. Judy.
So we have a house on the corner of 15th and Pine Street, 1409. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's been, all the floors and things have been redone and it's painted freshly inside. Somebody had been renting it for about 11 years. So the owner put it on the market for $212, and we've had a lot of inquiries with the coming soon. It goes on the market today, and it has a large yard, and off of 15th Street there's a double gate, so you can pull your boat or your motorhome in that double gate area.
Okay.
And then we have the one that's on Ridge Run, and it's 309 Ridge Run. It's a 5-bedroom, 4 baths, and it has a downstairs bedroom for a mother-in-law or a mother or somebody, because it's all wheelchair accessible.
Okay.
And then it has this parent area upstairs, I call it a parent suite or a parent retreat, because the master is huge, and it also has a little living room in the master. It has plenty of storage space. It was built by Dries, and it's had 2 owners, and it has a hot tub that's really nice, and the yard has all been redone, re-landscaped in the back. So it's been reduced already,
Okay.
$399.
All right.
And it's what, 3,600, I think, square feet.
Okay, Megan.
Got a couple I forgot. Got a lease in Bertram that just went on the market last week. Barndominium on 10 acres, $1,800 a month. So if you've got someone looking for something rural, that's on the north side of Bertram off of 183, County Road 210. Coming soon, another barndominium, a smaller 2-bedroom, like 1 or 1.5 bath, is on 30 acres.
Okay.
This is south of Bertram, closer to Oatmeal. Lots of rolling terrain, trees. It's going to be listed in the low 4s in the next 2 weeks. And then I have one coming back on the market that we took off during the holidays. It's in the west side of Georgetown, off of Brangus. So not in the city itself, and low tax rate, 1.5 acres, lots of trees, 4-bedroom, 2,800 square foot house along with a guest house.
Okay.
What's the address?
3403 Brangus.
All right. Anyone else? Sylvia.
Price adjustments?
Not yet.
Okay.
Judy, what was the square footage on the Pine?
Oh, you would ask.
Yeah.
It's below 900.
Okay.
Good job, Scott.
Yeah.
Coming soon, I have one in San Gabriel Heights. It's 3-bedroom plus 3 living areas. One of them's a study, and one of them's kind of a sunroom living area that faces the back of the house. It's on over a ½ acre, and it kind of has green belt. Everything in the house completely redone: wood floors, new cabinets, new counters, foam insulation, very low utilities, and going to list it in about 2 weeks. Probably close to 325. But
Okay.
Great house.
Good. Any other coming soons?
I think the flippers are coming into Georgetown because I had 2 sets of people that were interested in the house I had on Laurel.
Just remember, it's not the size of your flippers, it's the size of your heart.
Okay.
We learned about that earlier.
So, it's real funny because the person that wrote the contract, they didn't tell me that, and then I got a call from somebody with Keller Williams that I've known for a long time, and she said she's going to buy it, and she's going to flip it, so it's going to be
Yeah.
I thought they had kind of gone by the wayside for a while, but I think the tax, the way this tax is changed for investors.
Yeah.
You're willing to see more investors.
Yeah, I agree. Any price adjustments? Sylvia?
On the mobile home lease on Highway 29, it's 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. The owners dropped it to $1,675.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Yeah.
My listing in Owl Creek, 0417 Owl Creek in Garrett Creek has been reduced to $288,500.
Okay.
Has 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and an office.
Okay, good. Yes.
Last week while I was gone, we reduced the 10-acre, we have multiple 10-acre tracts in Georgetown ISD over off of County Road 127 out towards Jonah. They're now listed at 139 and 149 for 10.7-acre tracts. And those do allow, they do have restrictions that will allow subdividing into 5-acre tracts after 1 year.
Okay, perfect.
Very unique features.
Anyone else? All right, buyer needs?
I've got a buyer need. If
Yeah.
somebody has a property that has a home that is about 3,000 plus square feet, has 3, and don't laugh at this, but 3 masters, or something that feels like 3 masters, max of 500, 3-car garage, please let me know.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, well, before I bring up Jordan and Alex, this place right here is a pretty unique place here in Georgetown. I had the opportunity to go and visit them about 3 weeks ago. What makes them so unique is these 4 guys that are right there on the front, they're all the doctors that represent this place, and they all own it. And the most you will ever pay out of pocket for a visit there, whether you have insurance or not, is $450. That's for an emergency room visit. Doesn't matter if your arm is broken and they have to do an x-ray and they have to bandage you all up. Doesn't matter if you're getting stitches. Doesn't matter if you need a what's the one that just does your head? CAT scan. Doesn't matter if you're getting one of those. But the most you'll ever pay out of pocket's $450, and I thought that was absolutely incredible. They said the reason that they're doing this here in Georgetown is because they wanted a way to serve the community, and they wanted to make sure that everybody who needed care had the ability to get it. You know, how many of you have been to the emergency room before and had a bill of like, you know, $3,000-4,000? They didn't want that to happen to people who don't have insurance or who have really high deductible plans. So that's why they're doing this. So I wanted to make sure you knew about it. And if you want door flyers to go out and give you a reason to door knock a neighborhood and provide value, this is a great thing to do to let people know that there is a place out there that they can go and get care at. And so, yeah. Any questions about that? Good. I just want to make sure you know that it's here in Georgetown, right next to Walgreens, across from the Target in Wolf Ranch. So it's right up the street. Jordan, come on in. You're going to give us all an update on your dad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do that first, I guess.
Good.
Yeah. Hey, if you know me and you Facebook stalk me, and I know some of you, a couple of you do, my dad's been very sick, so thank you for those of you that are praying for him. He, long story short, my dad had a pacemaker put in like 22 years ago, 14 years ago, he had a replacement. Recently, over Christmas, he got pneumonia, got dehydrated, developed sepsis, got an infection inside. Antibiotics will take care of that with living tissue, but the pacemaker leads, it doesn't attach itself to the pacemaker leads. They had to remove those, and during that procedure, kind of all hell broke loose, pardon the expression, but anyway, so he's kind of, it's been back and forth as to whether or not I'm buying a ticket up there. So yeah, right now they drained about 1.4 liters of fluid out from his pericardium, that's the sac around your heart. And so he seems to be doing better after that. He had a really rough weekend. It is up in Canada. I'm Canadian. If you don't know me, I'm Canadian, so don't hold that against me.
It's about time you told us.
Yes. Anyway, so I won't get political, but if you're for socialized healthcare, get out. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but it doesn't seem to be really working for my dad. So anyway, yeah. So I'm just saying. I don't make jokes and stuff, but thank you for the prayers. And I was kidding with the socialized healthcare thing. You can stay. Okay. Hey, let me talk about while we're here. So I'm Jordan Jones. This is Alex Eiler. We're with Fairway Mortgage, and we are the last year when they did the basically top 5 purchase lenders in the country. We were actually number 5. So first is Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Was it Bank of America or Chase?
That was Bank of America.
Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Then Quicken and Loan Depot, your 2 online lenders, and then it was Fairway Mortgage. So large, yeah, we're a large nationwide company, but we keep kind of in these hometown pockets so that you've got a lender that you can go around the corner and put your foot on their throat, so to speak, if something goes wrong, which it's not going to. We're going to actually show you in just a second a reason how you can keep things from going wrong. It's our Power Buyer program that you're really going to love. Before I mention that, I want to mention March 6th. If you can, put it on your calendars. March 6th, I'm going to send out to Kristen, and then she's going to bounce it out to everybody else, a flyer for our American Warrior Initiative event. It's a 4-hour continuing education. You get your military realtor specialist designation out of it so that you can attach to your license. It's not on how to do a VA loan. That's my job, okay? And I'm a military mortgage specialist, so probably 40% of my business and Alex's business is VA loans. I don't know if I've reached expert status yet, but I'm definitely a resource for you regarding VA loans. But what it's going to teach you, just like us, is how to work with military families. Those who have been deployed, those who have seen live action combat and all that. And so it's going to be a real eye-opener kind of. It's, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and put money on it. I'll give you $10 if you don't walk out of there, of my money, if you don't walk out of there saying that was the best continuing education I've ever been to.
I did teach a class last week, so just so.
Okay. March 6th. It's going to be 9 to 1 on March 6th. So we didn't necessarily move it to avoid your award ceremony, but it did get moved, and it's avoiding your award ceremony. So yay. So yeah, if you can make
Perfect.
if you can make it out, it will definitely be worth your while. And like I said, I'll put my own money on it. It's awesome. If you have any questions about it, Pat was there at our event 2 years ago.
What was the location?
Yeah, it's location.
It's at Avery Ranch again.
Avery
So
Ranch
we
is
had
the same
Avery
place.
Ranch, the Lakeview room right there. If you see much just on national news, military correspondence, a lot of times you'll see a guy named Sean Parnell. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He actually works for Fairway now and leads our American Warrior Initiative nonprofit. So he will actually be one of the people there at the event to speak. I think part of it, it covers your lunch. I think you actually even get a copy potentially. I think we did that.
Yeah, we do a copy.
You get a copy of his book,
book,
and he signs them all. But just the kind of the best moment of the class, it kind of leaves you like, okay, this was great. All of the money that comes in, we do get sponsors to sponsor, and it's a 4-hour CE course. It costs $30. All of the funds, Fairway foots the bill for the event, like for renting the room at Avery Ranch. Fairway corporately foots the bill for that. All of the funds that come in from the $30, from the sponsorships we get. If you've seen me and Jordan on a Friday, you probably have been like, those guys don't dress up on Fridays, because we're probably wearing jeans and our Red Friday shirts, t-shirts. They sell those at the event. All the funds that come in, we find a local veteran in our area here who is having trouble. Sometimes it can be a pretty dramatic situation, but we find someone who needs some help, and basically we bring them in. They don't really know what's going on. They just know that we're bringing them in for something, and at the end of the class, they basically hand them one of those big giant checks. I want to say 2 years ago when we did it here, and then that family was in such a bad way that we actually took that family up to, they're actually from Waco. We brought them down here, blessed them with the event here, and then the next day had one in Waco and blessed them again. And I want to say the one here we raised about $10,000, and the one up there was like 14 or 15,000. So
Wow.
we were able to give them about $25,000 to get them back in their home that had been taken away.
We would have done more, but it was during family reunion, and KW wasn't there. And let's be honest, KW cares. So if we had KW agents, we probably would have had even more that day, or a lot. Well, we would have had a lot more.
Whenever you go and speak at any other real estate office, if you could just share that with them, that'd be great.
Sure. That's going to give me some business.
Hey.
So is that the military relocation specialist designator?
It has its own. It actually has its own designation. I'd have to actually look at it to see. In the flyer that we'll send out, it'll actually say on there, because there's a lot of different military specialists. So American Warrior Initiative actually has its own military specialist designation.
So yeah, it's not a relocation thing. It's more about it's they're teaching you to specialize in working with military families. You know,
what they're going through. You know, just the different things they'll deal with. Ladies, if you come, actually, even guys, you might. We have tissue boxes on all the tables for a reason, because the stories that you hear while you're there, and even Sean, when he tells the story of when he first got to Iraq, and it touches you. So I don't want to say when you're talking about a matter like that, like I don't want to call it, you know, from terms of a C course being entertaining. I don't want to call it entertaining because
it's engaging.
It's not for entertainment. It's engaging. It's gripping. Like you come out of there.
Memorable.
Oh wow,
Yes.
It's over already. So,
you watch the video?
We do have the video. This is our Power Buyer program that our biz dev team put a little video together just to give you.
Before you go there on those red shirts, what is the red stamp mark?
Remember everyone deployed.
Yeah.
In today's market, buying a home is competitive. Many listings receive multiple offers and sell quickly. At the Wood Group of Fairway, we don't just provide loans, we go above and beyond to serve people. Here's what that looks like when you shop for a home. Most lenders start with a pre-qualification or pre-approval. A pre-qualification is a verbal or written verification from your lender that you're financially ready to purchase and sketches out an early plan for how to buy. A pre-approval letter comes after basic information and documents are gathered. It verifies the loan options you may qualify for. All lenders have some form of pre-approval letter that allows you to submit an offer on a home. But at the Wood Group of Fairway, we believe home buyers deserve more. We go one step further to make sure you get what you need by making you a power buyer. With our Power Buyer program, your loan receives a stamp of approval from one of our professional underwriters before you shop. The work that normally happens in a rush is taken care of ahead of time. All you have to do is find the home that fits you. Why the extra step? As a power buyer, you can shop with confidence and make an offer that truly stands out. Because our underwriters have already approved your loan, there are no financial contingencies or last-minute scrambling as you shop. You can quickly make a strong offer that competes with anyone, even cash buyers. Plus, being a power buyer allows you to close in as little as 15 days. No more waiting a month or more to make that house a home. And we stand by that timeline by paying up to $1,000 to the seller if we're late. That's just one more reason to have your offer stand out above the rest and prove it really does pay to be a power buyer. Less time, less worry, less hassle. Don't accept what everyone else is offering. Be a power buyer. Take your first step with the Mortgage Team Texans Trust at woodgroupmortgage.com/start.
So the key with the Power Buyer program is we know, in all honesty, in our market here, it's even more prevalent, is you get into the spring and the summer, and it's already starting to happen, multiple offer situations. You get this young couple who comes in, it might be a first-time home buyer, they're excited, they want to buy, and then what happens to them after the fifth house they tried to buy, they lost in multiple offer situations, then the discouragement and all that. So the objective of this Power Buyer program is literally that, is to put power in our buyers' hands, to try to make them as close to a cash offer as we can. Cash is going to be king, it always is, okay? But our objective with this is to try to make them as close to cash as we can. So one of the things that when they go through this program, it takes us about a week to 10 days up front to get them fully through and underwritten and fully approved. When they go through that process, most buyers, from the time they come in saying, hey, I want to look at houses, and you send them to a lender, by the time they actually get under contract, I mean, would we venture to say that most time it's probably at least a week? Now, sometimes they might come in on a Friday, want to look on Saturday and put in an offer immediately, and that kind of takes the availability of doing this away. But if there is that time where they are going to be doing that shopping, or maybe they haven't even started shopping yet, okay, if they can come in and let us run them through this program, they're fully underwritten. And when I mean fully underwritten. The only thing that has to be done is an appraisal. There's no contingencies other than the appraisal has to be done. And then you heard it on the video. If they do the program, we guarantee closing in 15 days or less. And then the whole deal about the $1,000 to the seller. When they go through the program, we send them the certificate. The certificate it's not just so that, ooh, I have a certificate. It's so that you can turn it in with their offer. So when you turn in that offer with other people making offers as well, and that listing agent is sitting there with their sellers and they got 4 offers in front of them, or 7, or whatever we wind up with in our market these days sometimes, they're looking at all these offers, and this one has a certificate on it that says they are fully underwritten, completely approved, no contingencies. All we have to do is the appraisal. We'll close in 15 days or less. And just to show you that as a lender we have some skin in the game and aren't just flippantly throwing that out there, the 15 days, we will pay your seller $100 per day up to $1,000 if we don't meet the 15 days. We're not planning on ever paying $100. I mean, in all honesty, all we have to do is an appraisal. We automatically on these loans order a rush with the appraisal. We get it back within 7 days. You know, we need like 1 or 2 days after that to send the appraisal up to get the underwriter to sign off on it and get our clear to close. So, you know, we actually can probably do a little faster than 15 if need be in a certain situation. But what we're trying to do is not make everybody be in a rush. We're trying to give them the ability to submit an offer that really does stand out against the other ones that are coming from a lender. Obviously, cash will normally win if they're offering the same, but if I'm a seller and I have a cash offer, but this person's offering a little bit more and I know that they're already completely underwritten with nothing on that, now the appraisal's still a thing. Cash buyer doesn't have to have the appraisal, so the appraisal's still a thing. But it does put a little bit more oomph behind their offer. And that's our objective.
So if you do that in addition to the appraisal contingency form, you're going to be in great shape.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is this is also very useful when you take a listing and they're buying another house in the state. They're moving up. They're whatever. Once you take that listing, get them to start as they're repairing. They're getting pictures done and all that stuff. You're about to put their house in the market. Go ahead and during that time get them to go through the Power Buyer program, because that again, they've got that time while they're preparing to list their house. So when they get an offer on their house, they can make another offer and they can close fast. And it puts more security in for them and for you and all that. The last thing I want to say is, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Are you able to alter the numbers so we're not giving away what they can get? Or, you know, we want to make an offer at this?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So that's not a problem.
Yeah, we'll tailor the letter to match what you want it to say as far as the offer goes. That way it's not giving their hand.
Yeah.
Are there additional costs or fees?
Great question. No. So I was just easy answer, but I was just talking to another realtor about this, and she said, well, the thing is they're thinking about doing cash, but they're thinking about doing a loan. And I'm like, well, hey, let's convince them to do a loan. Tell them they can do this. If they decide to do cash later, that's okay. Heck, they could even shop our rate if they wanted to. Of course, somebody else isn't going to guarantee a 15-day close, and we're going to offer them the lowest rate possible. Okay, but they're not locked into anything, and there's no fee for this at all. There's
no slipped-in disclosure that says that they're signing. They're still free. They're still free.
There's really not a reason not to.
If they have the time to, there's really not a reason not to do it.
They just have to be prepared to turn everything in.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of getting it, I mean, what a lot of lenders do is once they get a contract, then it's give me this. We're just doing it at pre-qualification at the beginning. Listen, to do this, to purchase a home, you're going to have to turn in this documentation. Let's do it now. Let's get you totally approved. And then, in all honesty, once you actually get to the I'm making an offer, you'll have enough going on with the inspections and all of that stuff. Why not take the whole loan process out of your worry zone?
Yeah.
and just let you focus on that.
In all fairness, it's what all lenders should be doing, but they're not. So let's give it up for Jordan and Alex.
If you have any questions on that, or if you want us to send you information or on the AWI event, grab one of my cards and just shoot me an email, shoot you back. I'm also going to bounce that through Kristen. And then the last thing, we've got some, the big roaster is barbecue pulled pork. The little thing is buffalo chicken, for those that prefer chicken, some lighter, I guess. There's some rolls, and then I put the cups for drinks on one of the tables out there just because I was running out of room. So I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, one more thing. Hey, if you haven't heard, I'm so sorry about this, but I need to make sure you guys know about this. TDHDA, Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, they've got, for a limited time and a limited amount of funds, a low interest rate.
First-time home buyer, has to be a
first-time
first-time
home
home buyer.
Okay.
They sent out the announcement on it yesterday. They did it a year ago. A year ago it was 3.75. This year, government loans, so FHA, VA, USDA. So for this year, what they're throwing out there, it's 3.99. So you got a first-time home buyer with a 640 credit score, and they can get 3.99 as their interest rate.
For conventional, it's 4.3.
4.3 conventional. Now the kicker with that, there's no catches to it. It's not a down payment assistance program. They have to have the down payment. But the kicker with that is the state has only set aside so much funds for the program. Last year it lasted 30 days and it was gone. Okay, so in the next 30 days, it probably will be viable. At that point, it might even happen quicker. First-time home buyer.
Anybody who hasn't bought a home in the last 3 years, right?
So it can be anywhere in the state?
Anywhere in the state, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Anybody who has not bought a home in the last 3 years.
Anybody who's not owned a home in the last 3 years
There
is
you
a
go.
first-time home buyer. If you owned a home before, but you have been renting for the last 3 years and have not owned a home, even a second home or like that, then you are a first-time home buyer.
There you go.
Where is your underwriter?
Our underwriters, so
In the office?
No, most of our underwriters are actually either up in we actually have a few here in the North Austin area that work remotely from our corporate office, which is in Dallas. So most of them are all in Texas. The cool thing with our underwriting that Fairway has set up, the same, I can choose my underwriter. When I submit it, if I want a specific underwriter, because I know how they've decided on something in the past, I can request that underwriter and I get her. I have the same underwriter. Jordan and I have the same one, maybe two underwriters that underwrite pretty much all of our files. So we kind of have that. It's a person. Denise is a person that I know that I call when she underwrites something. If I have a question, we have that direct line.
And she knows how you put things together, so.
Yeah, exactly. When he says Jordan and I, it's because we're actually a team. We work all our loans simultaneously. So when you work with me, you're getting Alex. When you work with Alex, you're getting me as well.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not.
If you don't like Jordan, just call me.
We're gonna stick around for questions so you can eat. So,
Good. As my grandpa would say, good God, good meat, good gravy. Let's eat. Go.
Yeah, sure.